Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fandom Post Radio Podcast. I am your engineer, Kate, and joining me this week is Brandon.
Yo.
Kestrel.
Hello.
Mark.
Hello.
And Kane.
Hi there.
And we are here to talk about anime. And since we're heading into the holiday seasons, we thought we would do a fun topic this week and talk about holiday episodes of anime, specifically ones that feature Christmas in some way, shape, or form. But first, we have news, as always.
Yeah. So first piece of news, Chloe Zhao, who is a director who kind of bounces back and forth between very different kinds of films, has established a Kodansha Studios to create live-action adaptations from Kodansha's manga library. For those who don't know, she probably best known for directing Nomadland, which is about as far as you can get from this, except that she immediately followed it up with the Marvel movie Eternals. And then she went back and did Hamnet, which just came out, and now she's going to some live-action Kodansha adaptations. So weird, but kind of on brand for her.
Wow, she's going where the checks be.
One for me, one for them, I guess.
Yeah, that is a remarkable career, if I'd say so.
Yeah. So anyway, presumably we're going to get a bunch of live-action adaptations of Kodansha manga in the coming years. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
That could be cool. Are there any that you would like to see in particular, even from like a sort of masochistic point of view?
I don't know that I've ever wanted to see a live-action, especially a Hollywood adaptation of a manga.
Yeah. I assume Attack on Titan's going to be high on their priority list.
I would guess so, yeah.
Ippo? Boxing movies are usually... they do one of those every now and then.
All right, if a live-action Ippo gets us physical copies of the manga, I'll take it.
But the live-action Ippo has
fair
to have
trade.
the racism kept in it.
Oh, that's right, from the manga, yeah. That was even
Yeah.
edited out of the anime.
Yeah, so you're going to have to take the good with the bad there.
I mean, again, we've gotten awful adaptations that have given us, like, nice collector's edition of the source material, so whatever needs to happen to get those physical books printed, I'll take it.
I remember watching Ippo and really enjoying it, and then every once in a while I'd get to parts in that anime where I'd be like, oh, okay, so this is what Kestra was talking about, where some of this stuff hasn't aged very well, nor probably was it great at the time either, only to be told in text that it gets even worse in the manga, and that the anime that tones it down significantly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was rough, and then I remember looking up the chapters, too, I'd be like, there's no way, and then, oh, yep, there's a lot of blackface in this.
Yep. Yeah, bummer about that, but the rest of Ippo's great, I promise.
But the Dempsey roll!
Yeah.
No, I'm with him. I'm with Kestrel on that. You just gotta like erase those chapters from your mind, and everything else is great.
That's fair. Real ball knowers, they should do like a Tetsujin 28 adaptation would be pretty cool.
That'd be easy to CGI that robot. It's just several large ovals.
It would be. They got a lot of old stuff, which is why like it would be cool, but I don't know how much is going to actually get touched here. This runs.
I feel like if they did Vinland Saga, everyone would just be like, isn't this just the Northmen?
Yeah, or like, isn't this
Yeah.
just that Vikings show? It is literally the Northman, though. That whole movie, I'm doing
It
like
really is.
Leo DiCaprio like pointing at the TV meme
Right.
the whole time. I'm like, wait a second.
Just waiting for Thorkel to show up. You're like, where's Thorkel? Where's he getting here?
But it also makes me think that Yukimoto must have taken some influence from Amleth and Hamlet in making it, because that is what the Northman is. And a lot of those traits are also found in Vinland Saga, so I was like, okay, maybe there's some of that going on. Anyway, yeah, we'll see if this goes anywhere. You know how these things usually go.
Yeah, it's like when have we heard anything about that Gundam adaptation? Or when was the last time? Yeah,
There's
they
some rumors
remaking
going
Death
on
Note.
Yeah, that's happening. The Stranger Things guys are doing a new Death Note. Sydney Sweeney is supposed to be in Gundam.
Oh God!
Wow,
I
great.
forgot about that.
I hope she plays Char.
Yeah.
I think she's rumored to be Sayla, so about as close as you can get.
I think she'd be a little bit more fitting if she was maybe like a Girin. I don't know. A lot of
Yeah.
Is the Gundam movie just supposed to be 79? Do we
I don't know if we know that much yet.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
that'd be wild.
I think the best we've gotten is some promotional imaging and cast rumors and some other stuff. But
If it's not, my money's on it being like Wing, just because American audiences.
No, they won't do that. That's
I think it'll be
You're saying
UC or
American
original.
audience. Yeah, it'll be some original story or what? Wing.
Oh,
Dude, do you know how long ago that was now?
Yeah. They're not banking on Toonami Kid nostalgia for this.
No.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. So this was kind of like a little PR thing that I wasn't going to bring up, but it segues into the next story. So I'll just mention here, Toei released this document about their grand master plan for the next 5 years of expanding their studio significantly. First phase of a 10-year plan aimed at turning the studio into a world-class powerhouse, hiring hundreds of key roles within the main studio, establishing 2 to 3 additional studios to support it within the next 5 years, and investing 70 billion yen over 5 years in their development of productions, putting artists at the center. So it's a lot of what we've kind of been seeing in the evolution of Toei over the past 10-15 years, where of course they are the longest running anime studio in existence, and they have been the primary anime studio for several different generations, and they have a lot of huge titles throughout the generations, but they've had some definite lulls and definitely kind of rested on their laurels, relied on their brand recognition of the big titles that they had instead of actually putting in any effort for quality adaptations for quite a few painful years there. But then, gradually over the course of the 2010s, they really came back to be exceptional in producing quality at the pace that they always have, which is weekly. The biggest development in that was what we talked about, I think, last episode, maybe the episode before, that the last remaining holdout of the infinite weekly anime would no longer be, and that's One Piece, and it'll be, effectively seasonal, and that will only get 2 cores per year from now on. So I feel like that's another move in that direction. So yeah, we'll see where Toei goes. Like I said, they've been on a good track lately for the past 10 years at least.
Yeah, I guess I would like to see, because you had said that they're focusing on artists and stuff, right?
Yes, right.
So what does that mean? I guess in a grand scheme, if it's well, we put a ping pong table in the break room, or
so they say creating a mechanism to continuously plan, produce, and manage projects that originate from the studio and its artists. Hold internal calls for projects, select them, produce them multiple times a year, give shape to one's own ideas, create short works, reduce the distance between staff members, deepen the understanding of the entire production flow. And in the past year, pilot production for 2 works was approved. and another goal is to publicize the artist's role, such as with key animation exhibitions and behind-the-scenes posts on social media.
Okay.
So, yeah, basically just a move away from the kind of just facelessly shovel out content with no real personality or creativity behind it, and actually hopefully elevate the staff, which I think they've been doing more in the past 5 years or so, and let them like really have their own voice and vision expressed, and I guess make them more known as the creators behind it. You know, you'll have like a better concept of this is a Megumi Ishitani work versus just a Toei work.
Yeah, that part sounds promising. At least getting them at least credit on paper and exposure, which could help careers and stuff. I mean,
beats driving them away, which has seemed to be what was happening for a long time at Toei, where people would be like, "Wow, this animator is really good," and they're leaving because why would they stick around? They get no recognition.
Yeah, for sure. But that brings me to my next piece of news, which is, unfortunately, the person I credit with making Toei good, at least in the 21st century. Like I said, they were, a classic studio in the 80s and 90s and before that, but kind of the modern renaissance of Toei, I credit to Tatsuya Nagamine. And it was announced that he passed away. He was only 53 years old. I don't think there was any information given on the cause. But he was kind of... So I would say One Piece Strong World is the first kind of real landmark in Toei's evolution in the 21st century. He didn't direct that, but he directed the next One Piece film, Z or Z. And that was, definitely built upon what Strong World was doing and is still one of the best One Piece films. And then, notably, he kind of took charge of their two biggest properties, and it's a very clear night and day difference in their quality. First, with Dragon Ball Super, the first few arcs of that were kind of like, despite it being their biggest property in the first new Dragon Ball anime in, what was that, like 20 years? It looked like it was shoveled out the day before, right? For like 100 episodes or more. And then you got to the Tournament of Power, the final arc, and I will say a lot of it was just kind of like the aesthetic, the filters, the line art, kind of superficial qualities, but the direction and animation and general tone of it did improve over the course of that arc, and it got the kind of like climax that you would hope for something of that caliber, and that was when he took over series direction. And before that point, to our previous discussion, it was kind of like, at first there wasn't really a series director announced for the series, and it kind of showed, and then it was like they were churning through them, they couldn't stick around, and there were all these production dramas, and then Nagamine showed up, took over for the rest of the series, and it was relatively solid, and then he followed that up immediately with directing Dragon Ball Super Broly, which I think is easily the best Dragon Ball film, certainly visually. And then he was the one a few months later who took over being the series director for One Piece at the start of the Wano arc, which everyone basically knows is the huge renaissance in the quality of the One Piece anime. And again, even though it's been running weekly with the exception of a recent 6-month break, for those 6.5 years since he took over, he definitely established a night and day difference in production quality, and just the direction, the creativity, instead of just what it was for many, many years, which basically looked like they took some panels from the manga, they used a paint tool on it, and then they dragged it all out really unnaturally. And that was a lot of arcs of One Piece in the middle there. And even though they had the like half a chapter per 24 episodes to make work, they still managed to make most of those episodes surprisingly good. And there have been, stories from the people who worked with him, stories they've told before and after his passing, about just how supportive he's been of what we were just talking about, where Toei is headed with elevating creators, and saying like, yeah, this is your vision. It doesn't matter if it's exactly what the source material said. If you can make it better, like you should be doing with adaptation, then do that. And we are here to support you. And I think that's definitely why we've gotten like what Megumi Ishitani has done in One Piece, and other artists of that caliber as well. Henry Thurlow, who's an American who has worked in Japan for quite a while and worked on One Piece for a good number of years and directed an episode, put out a video where he talked about that as well, and how he was given so much freedom to do what he needed to do because of Nagamine specifically. So yeah, I think he's definitely the guy who made One Piece anime good, the guy who made Toei in general good, and is probably responsible for the direction that they are still heading with this recent announcement as well.
Yeah, that feels pretty rare. Kestrel, maybe you could correct me, but what you had mentioned where they just kind of gave him pretty close to free reign to make adaptations better if his moves would be better rather than sticking from like to the source material whole cloth, like allowing someone to have that creative freedom feels uncommon in that way, to have like that trust.
I think in this case it was probably the fact that because he took over these kind of struggling series and made them so much better in just simple little ways, and then he was able, because as a series director on a series like One Piece that has thousands of episodes that run every week, you have your episode directors that he has to give a lot of the runway to as well. And so I think Toei trusted him because of how much he had done with the films and the series to allow him to allow the people under him to elevate their own voices and express their own visions as well.
And to go that, you said like 50s?
Yeah, 53.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
So rough.
Real bad.
Rest in peace.
Yep. Yeah, definitely an artist who, even if he's not working on the series, just the way he turned them around, I think hopefully we'll see that his legacy continues in them for many, many years.
And didn't it say like he passed away over the summer and they just announced it in like
yeah. It's a pretty typical thing in Japanese PR.
Yeah.
They don't want the media circus like the US, where the second they don't feel that pulse, they're like, all right, tell everyone.
Yeah, TMZ's already in the room with them.
Right.
TMZ
is in the mortuary.
Yeah, they're in the ambulance checking the pulse.
Yeah, 100%. They might have put the pillow on the face occasionally. They needed a headline for the day.
What'll get me clicks, them living or not?
Yeah. But yeah, Japan is relatively respectful about that. So, because it wasn't as extreme of like months, but like Toriyama, speaking of Dragon Ball, it was, a few weeks, a month maybe, before they announced that. So anyway, that sucks. And then last little pieces here. I wasn't going to do this because I figured Demon Slayer's passed all its, landmarks. But I didn't realize, or I forgot about the fact that it was not yet released in China, and then it was. So it got a little extra boost from releasing in China.
How much of a little? How much is a little?
I forget what the number was before, but it's up to $730 million now, which also makes it over 100 billion yen, which is the first Japanese film to ever accomplish that.
Wild.
Yeah, so most of the things that we were expecting it to accomplish, it already did, but it moved up a few spots on a few of those rankings. So if we look at, say, the R-rated movie list, it's at number 7 now, and for like R-rated film series, it's also at number 7. Pretty close to moving up on both of those. And also on that note, we talked about Chainsaw Man box office a little bit last time, and it's also doing quite well for what it is. And it was not too far from hitting number 3 on the highest grossing R-rated animated films of all time, and it is now number 3. But to put in perspective how much bigger Demon Slayer is than anything else, the top 3 highest grossing R-rated animated films of all time are Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, 730 million, Demon Slayer Mugen Train, 512 million, Chainsaw Man Reze Arc, 168 million. So number 3 is about a quarter of the gross of number 2. So nothing touches Demon Slayer. But it's.
There's a little bit of catching up to do.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe by like the 3rd Chainsaw Man film. We'll see. No.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got for that.
Mild.
That everything from the news desk?
Yep.
Nice. Alrighty. Well, as Kate had mentioned a little bit ago at the start of the episode, we thought it'd be a fun episode this week to talk a little bit about the holidays, and especially the anime that try to encapsulate the winter holidays here, mainly Christmas and such. So I did some, I don't want to say research because that's being a little bit too generous, but generally just looking up what episodes were out there. And of course, there's one movie in particular that's very, very, very Christmassy that I'm sure we will talk about. But, I looked at a couple lists and watched some of the episodes from shows that I remember watching. And as I was doing this, I thought a fun question to actually start off the episode with, so to speak, was when each of you were giving whatever thoughts you were to this topic of our winter holiday Christmas episodes, I want to know what you were sort of like, what do you look for in an episode around Christmas or winter that you would consider good? I think this is an interesting question, as it can kind of give some insight into what you particularly enjoy or don't enjoy about this season, since I'm sure we'll all have some different shows and things like that. So I kind of want to just take the opportunity to go around the room metaphorically and just go with like, this is what I like about these episodes that I picked. You don't have to list them, and this is kind of why. I like a vibe. I like very Christmas heavy themes. I like comedy. I like lightheartedness, things like that. Just because our stuff can be kind of all over the map. So I figured I would go ahead and just start with, Mark, because he didn't talk a whole lot last episode. So I'm going to put him on the spot immediately. And
he suggested this.
How dare you?
And he did suggest this topic as well, so he should have something in the chamber ready. But yeah, starting with Mark, and then you can kind of pass the mic around. I just kind of want to know, like, why do you like the episodes that you picked, and kind of what you like about the season in general, since I'm sure those two things will have in common.
Yeah. Well, the thing that has always jumped out to me about these episodes, and, at this point, I've been watching anime for over 30 years. So I can't say that new episodes are kind of surprising me a whole lot on this front anymore. But what is I find particularly neat about them is just kind of the portrayal of how different Christmas shows up in Japan versus in the US, at least in the way that it's portrayed in its media. Like all of the well, maybe symbols, but all of the non-religious symbols, the Christmas tree, Santa Claus, that sort of thing. They all kind of show up, but it's very clearly a very different holiday over there than it is here, and it's portrayed that way very differently in their shows. And that's just something that kind of always jumps out at me about how we think of Christmas as a family thing, and over there it's kind of a lot more about friendship, and they how many episodes they get up and the first thing they do, that they say Merry Christmas to their family or whatever whatever. And but then that evening they're out with friends as opposed to it being something where, big major family gathering, that sort of thing. And that's always just kind of like really intrigued me. And I really like the different vibe to it. Like so many other people, I spend, a lot of time during the holidays watching a lot of Christmas stuff. And it's just nice to get like a very different feeling for a little bit when I sit down and watch something like this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it really
I think that's a
could-
good
yeah.
observation for sure about the
Yeah,
whole
it's-
friends thing.
Yeah, it's reversed from the holidays over here where because their New Year's is the get together with family,
Yeah.
and hang
Right.
out thing, and our New Year's is this is when you go out with the significant other and party.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just flipped completely.
And specifically in Japan, also Christmas Eve is like almost Valentine's Day level of a romantic holiday.
Yes.
Yeah, that part especially is interesting, the romantic holiday thing, because most of the stuff I watched didn't really have any of that going on. But it really hit heavy on the hanging out with friends, and in some cases highlighting like the people who don't and how miserable they are, which I thought was a little mean spirited.
Hey, I'm going to talk about one of those, but that's different.
But yeah, that's a really good point. That is one thing I noticed, is that family isn't super duper involved in many of them, or in some cases it's like a different family, like not your blood related family, but like your friends or adopted family or something like that is who you spend that particular time with.
Exactly. Yeah. And kind of like Kate said, sort of the reversal. I hadn't even put it in that frame in my head, but the sort of the reversal with New Year's as well is how it's not just like a friends time. Like they go out, they go out and do things. They go, whatever, go out to dinner, go out to karaoke, go out to, hang out at places. It's not just like, hey, let's gather at somebody's house a lot of times. Whereas, of course, here, good luck finding anything that's open on Christmas Day.
Yeah, it's very much a social occasion.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll go ahead because they already spoke, but I want to hear what Kate has to say about Christmas anime.
I'm trying to remember a more recent episode of any series that I've seen, and I can't. A lot of the episodes that come to mind are like older shows that I watched a million years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is the whole, most of the episodes of anime that I've seen haven't gone for the romance so much as it's gone for like the comedy or or throwaway stuff. Like it is weird. It is weird to see anime have the Christmas episode because that's something I so associate with US television, especially not even modern US television, older US television, where it seemed like every sitcom and every TV show had like the Christmas episode for that year, where it was
Mhm.
just whatever the group is doing, like the Christmas episode. And yeah, with everything turning into serialized shows, everything going to, like, legacy TV is kind of dead, and so we don't get that anymore, and it's kind of nostalgic at this point that everybody's like, oh, we're gonna drag out the Christmas episode, here we go.
Yeah, and to be clear, it's not like any of the things you watch have to be new. I mean, out of the ones I was planning on talking about, I don't think any of them are newer than 2017, most of them being early 2000s works, if not even older. So it's not like it had to be like, what's your favorite Christmas anime episode from this year? Or anything like that. So it's totally fine if this stuff is on the older end. But yeah, so yeah, another thing about just the way that they celebrate, which is cool. All right, how about we flip it over to Brand now? We'll save Kestrel for last because I know he probably has a top 10 that he whittled down from 30 or something like that.
I feel like Kate brought up a pretty good point. Just when I was myself also reflecting on what episodes I would consider like holiday, not just in theming, but in the way they make me feel, which I think it's easy to just, for me to like formulate that around the holidays, I like the, comfort food feel of the whole thing. Sort of, like going to visit family and like knowing you're going to eat, a meal that you're used to eating every year kind of thing. But the comfort in knowing that that place is there for you every year to, kind of just do this cycle and like let go of the rest of the things going on in the world and in your life for just a short while and, just have some more peaceful reflection and family time. And I feel like that does line up a lot with when I was thinking about it, like Kate said, a lot of more American television really harks onto that. So like, old Simpsons episodes, Futurama, like all these like older cartoons that have their token holiday episode or something, which are like infinitely rewatchable, and I often find myself watching as well. The other, I guess, even more closely to the Thanksgiving holiday roto for me has become Over the Garden Wall. I basically watch every year now. But yeah, for anime, it does hit a little different, like how Mark mentioned about the social differences of how they do it there. But I still feel like what I enjoy most are it kind of becoming like a yearly comfort fallback where like I know the few Christmas themed episodes that I enjoy from series I've watched over the last couple decades and are always good for me to fall back on, usually for a laugh, usually for like a coming together moment, So yeah, for me it's really just about the not so much nostalgia, but like the comfort of like that repetition and the calmness, the perceived calmness at the very least of like the holiday season and just kind of taking your minds off the other things in life.
Cool. Yeah. That something that you had said there with the calmness and things, I think is an interesting accessory to kind of what has been talked about already, in that the way that they celebrate in the anime at least, is so much more like low-key relaxing that it's in ways that I wish we celebrated more around here, because a lot of our Christmas media, at least, and anybody here who's spent holidays with the family, there was always so much hullabaloo, so many things to do. Like it is hectic as it is enjoyable to see everyone, and I kind of like how in these anime and just in general how they celebrate Christmas versus New Year's and stuff over there. It seems much more of like you hang out. you'll throw a gift on the table and be like, Merry Christmas, also here's a beer. And then you just kind of chill and enjoy each other's company without worrying too much about, all of the planning and all of that stuff as well. Now, that's oversimplifying it, of course. And I'm sure my family has treated Christmas with varying levels of enthusiasm throughout my entire life. So it's much closer to how anime stuff does it now, where you just kind of show up and you're like, hey, sup, yeah, Merry Christmas and whatever, cool. And then you proceed to, just turn it into a good day or a good evening of hanging out with a little bit of something extra added on, rather than big dinners and gift exchanges and lights and trees, etc., etc.
Well, that's just called becoming an adult when there's no children in the picture.
That's true.
Deal with.
That's true.
That's really what it is. It's
Yeah,
like
no more having to make it a spectacle.
Yeah.
Like my niece and nephew are just aging out of spectacle, basically. But so it's like, oh, I'm kind of losing that again. The whole sit around and everybody, open presents like mad people, like even when it's like, it's like, because that way you had to ensure that the adults got a lot of presents too, because otherwise the kids would think it's weird. So
yeah, in my family, we're hitting that. We're almost at that age group where, all of the, I say kids, but like me and my cousins are all in our 20s and 30s now, but we're getting back to that circling around point where like, oh, one of my cousins finally had kids, and now it's going to start shuffling into that where like this last holiday, like that kid got a bunch of toys. So
yeah, everybody's going to have to start one-upping each other because it's like, my kid got more toys than your kid.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, you got to get that ramp up, that consumerism ramp up going. All right. Last but not least, how about we hear from the man himself, Kestrel, and why he likes Christmas anime and how much trouble he had putting his list together.
His list is all Gintama, you know it.
Yeah, exactly. pretty much true.
It's half of mine.
Yeah, I contrary to my character description, I did not assemble a formal list here, so sorry to disappoint. But I find that I am not a person who really has, a slate of Christmas media to watch every year.
You don't sit down with all them Hallmark movies? That ain't you?
Yeah. Definitely not that. But no, even like the Christmas episode of any given series, I don't like have a collection of those to just go back to every year. So yeah, I just kind of passively consume Christmas episodes as part of a series or whatever. Maybe occasionally a Christmas movie makes sense to put on, but I'll generally not pick out individual episodes for the day. But yeah, I do like the different atmosphere of the Japanese Christmas experience. I certainly would say that most of my favorite Christmas episodes of anime are Gintama, because A, I love Gintama, and B, there's like a dozen different Christmas episodes. So that helps. And yeah, I think the general theme that we're all going with for Christmas episodes is that they're going to be kind of chill, low-key, laid back. So the stakes aren't huge, so I feel like comedy is a good avenue for that. Because if it's just kind of dull, then, it can be relaxing. But if you can get some laughs out of it, then that's kind of the best case scenario for a low stakes, don't take itself seriously kind of episode. And then the other side of that is also the romance angle, which a lot of romance series will have their Christmas Eve episode specifically, since that is the romantic holiday. And yeah, it's just generally a good opportunity for some positivity, where they don't necessarily need to manufacture drama, because we've accepted that this is a theme with which you can work with positivity, and you get away with it for at least one episode. And that can be a welcome change of pace sometimes. And, some shows do it better than others, but it's nice to see, especially if it happens to like air around the actual holiday. It's kind of weird when you get a Christmas episode in like July. You're like, all right, whatever. But that's how seasons go sometimes.
Yeah, that's always unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's my favorite when shows like Great British Bake Off do it. And then they're like, welcome to the Christmas episode, and you can tell it's still like 80 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they filmed the fucking thing in July or whatever. So.
Exactly.
In the 500-degree tent that they're always complaining about, yeah.
Yep. All right, cool. Well, thank you everyone for humoring me. It was just something I was curious about, as Christmas is always an interesting thing to hear people's opinions on how they celebrate and if they care or not. But I will say this, that as I was watching them to do the research before going into it, I wish we had more of Christmas episodes and fewer beach episodes, and I don't care what kind of hate that gets me. I'm so tired of beach episodes. Give me more chill Christmas episodes.
About Christmas on the beach.
Ooh,
Okay,
see,
now
there
we're
we go.
talking.
Yeah, now see, this is how you make the big bucks. Ideas,
Now,
man.
Christmas in July doesn't sound so bad.
Nah. Alrighty, so how about we jump in a little bit to some of the examples that we picked out that we particularly enjoy. And is anybody brave enough to volunteer, or am I going to have to spin the wheel and choose?
Oh god, he's gonna spin the wheel.
I'll start off with, I think
Sure.
you may have alluded to this. You mentioned that there's like a movie that might most definitely be brought up. And this is one of the few that for me has become like I try to watch it every year if I can. But I think Tokyo Godfathers to me is like a holiday movie in the sense that like it takes place during the holiday. And I kind of think the found family theming around it, for me at least, like really hits home with the specialness of the holidays. So yeah, that one I felt the need to at least lead off with, because I think it's like it's a phenomenal movie, and Satoshi Kon's one of the goats.
Mhm.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. That was the one I was mentioning. It is the
Okay.
Christmas anime movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am the same as you, Bran. I try to rewatch this every year, whether on my own or with Emily or someone, just because of how much I enjoy it. It may be my favorite thing by Kon in particular, just because of how good every piece is, especially the found family moments that I particularly appreciate. But I saw this for the first time when it came to theaters. Was that 3 or 4 years ago at this point? I can't remember if it was pre or post COVID, because time is so fucked.
Yeah, I think it was like the week before COVID hit the US.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. It was that long ago. I remember going to see it then.
Yep.
Wow.
Beginning March 2020.
Holy shit.
Yep, I saw it in theaters, and it was a theater that must have been trying to simulate Christmas winter, because they had the air conditioning on full blast, and it was like 46 degrees inside.
No.
But I just remember watching it and thinking that it is, as you put it, kind of like takes place at Christmas, is Christmas themed, but isn't always like very Christmas-y, except for some very like key moments, especially when it leans more into its like familial drama elements rather than towards the end when you get like action movie elements and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, not to mention I'll hold this opinion till the day I die, but I think Hana is the best mother in all of anime.
Oh,
So that also helps things. And the scene where Miyuki is having like that flashback of her family right before she ran away and everything, but when her mom calls her and she turns around and it's Hana instead of her own mom and stuff, that like that's my favorite scene in the whole movie. That really touched me in there, and that she considers them, even with all their fighting, like her found family, her second family, considering she has a real one that is looking for her and everything. So depending on how you feel about that, but it adds emotional depth to their whole dynamic, because for most of the movie you would swear that a lot of these people just like borderline hated each other, but then if that's what Miyuki sees when she's, you know, dreaming or, you know, somewhat like hallucinating that these people are her family and replacing her parents, and that's just something that's very touching, even with fucking Gin being such a piece of shit.
Yeah, bad dad award for sure. It's funny because you say how you think these people hate each other the way that they act, and it's funny because in my opinion one of the best scenes is when Gin is talking to his daughter and then Hana just like goes off on his ass and just like tears him a new one.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, she did that because she cares about him, and it's just like, what?
Rightfully so. She had all the justification in the world to fucking dunk on him because he was being such a piece of shit. I think it also has a really good fake out in the movie that when I was watching gave me anxiety, which is when Hana does the bloody napkin cough.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh god, no, please. Anything but this. And luckily, at least as of the runtime of the film, nothing really comes of it too much. Now, it could just be for foreshadowing afterwards, given, you know, the time that the movie takes place and other things. And you don't really know much about what their lives are like outside of this one specific night. So, obviously, who's to say? But at least in the movie, nothing happened.
Yeah.
You can walk away from the movie and pretend everything's okay.
Exactly. You can be like, oh, everything's good.
Yeah.
They all lived happily ever after.
Easily. But yeah, that was definitely on my list of ones to talk about. And when you saw it, Bran, was it with the new dub and everything too? Or I guess you would still call it new, even though it's been around for a while now. But.
I don't think I saw the new dub. I believe when I last saw it in the theater, I caught the sub version of it. But that's a good idea for this year's viewing. I could definitely give the new dub a try, which is great too because I try to get someone new to watch it every year too, to be like, hey, I don't know if you've already got like your Christmas movie list is already like full schedule, but if you can slide this one in there, I think it's pretty good. So that's always a good way to introduce people.
Yeah, it is really good. I like the dub a lot.
Okay.
I didn't realize it had a dub. I've only ever seen the sub. That's awesome. I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this new dub is the only one, to be honest.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It was never dubbed until 2020.
Cool. But yeah, it's super good. Would highly recommend, because I actually haven't seen it in the sub, only the dub. So maybe I'll switch things up this year. And
well, you know, and I think kind of what you were, you know, sort of saying there, and going back to our conversation at the very beginning about Christmas being more of a friends thing in Japan, it's very much a movie about. It is more a movie about family, but it's the family you choose rather than the family you're stuck with.
Yeah.
And I think and again, that's very opposite typically what we get for our media here. But that's part of the power, I think, of this movie as well, is these this group of people, these three people and a baby who are very different from one another, and as you said, just seem like for so long of it just absolutely hate each other, but manage to come through for each other in ways that you would never think that they would at the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah. And their affection for each other, at least from like Miyuki to Hana, is also shown in a really like subtle way of sorts, where Miyuki calls her Miss Hana at one point, and it even surprises Hana. It surprises her, but it's like that's a term of endearment that she wouldn't have used before. I think that was after Hana kind of found Miyuki and the baby with that one couple that I think was it Spanish speaking? I can't remember.
They were Hispanic couple.
Yeah, and kind of chased Miyuki down all the way to find her, and that was like obviously something that would emotionally touch you. Like, this person cares enough about me that they basically, in a way, like stole a cab to get here to get here, even though I was okay at the end of the day. And then she starts calling her Miss Hana instead of just Hana, or whatever insult was being tossed around at that point in time. And I think that goes to show the family that you choose and family you find that Mark was talking about is so important within that movie.
100%.
Yeah.
Castro, I know you've seen this, obviously. And Kate, I'm assuming you have as well?
It's been a while. But yes.
Well, you should watch it this Christmas.
I know, I should. I'm like, man, I should watch this movie again.
I've seen it so many times. I don't know if I've ever seen it around Christmas time. Maybe once or twice.
You should give it a shot, see if it hits different.
Yeah. Maybe. It's also, there's a little bit of the baby is Jesus and the Godfathers are the three wise men going on there too. So it leads into the Christmas thing in a few ways.
Yeah.
Now, there is going to be snow in the movie, which is probably going to be tough for you.
I'm fine with snow on a screen.
as long as it stays digital.
Yep. Now, we went to Disneyland last Christmas, and they have their fake snow there. I'm like, yeah, this is all right.
That's so silly.
Their fake snow made out of soap suds.
Yeah.
Better than the Wizard of Oz snow, I guess.
Oh, no.
Considering that's just asbestos.
I mean, who knows? Maybe it was asbestos.
That's how Disney's gonna get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cool. I want to hear what some other people got on their list or what they'd like to talk about. So, I want to hear a little bit. Yeah. Do it.
Yeah,
make it work.
I'll jump in because I was about to jump in before because we led into this with need more Christmas episodes and fewer beach episodes. And so how about a Christmas anime that has both?
Okay.
So one that's on my list that I watch every year that is nowhere near as good as Tokyo Godfathers. It hits very differently than Tokyo Godfathers. It's called Itsudate My Santa. It's by Ken Akamatsu of Love Hina and Negima fame. I believe actually the manga predated either of those. That it was one of his earlier works, but it's about again, going back to that theme of the kid who hates Christmas. It's about a kid who hates Christmas. He hates Christmas because I can't remember if he was born on Christmas or born on Christmas Eve, but he was basically born at Christmas. And in honor of that, his parents called him Santa because they apparently hate him. And then so his birthday gets lost in the whole Christmas celebration every year, and then to make matters worse, he has the very anime trope of his parents who have very busy jobs and they're actually never home on Christmas either. Like they haven't spent Christmas slash his birthday with him in like 10 years. So so he really hates Christmas. And it what ends up happening is on one Christmas Eve he runs into, of course, a cute young girl who's dressed up like Santa, who calls herself Santa Claus, and she is here to teach him the meaning of Christmas. And then wacky hijinks go on from there, and she is, as we come to find out, she is actually one of Santa's helpers. And it's just an OVA. The original manga was just a one shot, but they actually created a second episode for some reason whatsoever, or for some reason, not for some reason whatsoever, but for some reason. And that second episode, which we don't watch, is a beach episode because it takes place in July. Because why not? Um, so,
How do
but
we get
we
people
don't talk.
interested?
Yeah. So we don't talk about that one, but it's if you've seen any Love Hina or Negima, I mean it's similar style of humor, a lot of risque situations, and of course when he starts to feel the Christmas spirit, she turns from a cute young girl into a very busty blonde Santa
course.
Yeah,
because of course she does. That's spirit of the season. But it is again kind of like a weird blending of that Christmas is about friendship and that sort of thing, but also sort of more of the stuff that we to Christmas, about togetherness and about family. And over the course of the OVA, he learns about how important his parents' work are. He grows up a little bit. He gets to know his friends better, and of course, by the end of it, he's feeling the Christmas spirit because, of course, you have to be. So,
I was gonna say,
it's
is that a
not.
euphemism for that chick's boobs, or where were you going with that?
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yes. Um,
I thought the same
so
thing.
yeah.
I was like, oh, the Christmas spirit,
Um,
you say?
so yeah, well, I mean, it's the reason he ends up hanging out with her in the first place. So yes, that is, if you've ever seen Love Hina or Negima, it goes to it figures, right? That's
Mm.
that's what those do. So, but
It lines up.
it lines up, yeah. It's very lighthearted. It's a lot of fun, and it's kind of heartwarming in a way as well. And it's one of the very few anime. We talked about sort of sometimes having a little bit of trouble coming up with these, but kind of like Tokyo Godfathers, it's kind of one of the few anime, at least that I'm aware of, that legitimately is about Christmas. It's not just, well, this episode takes place on Christmas, but it's legitimately about Christmas. And as I said, it's part of my watch cycle every year. Just don't watch the second
This is
episode.
a good deep cut.
This is, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm
Definitely
looking through
like-
images of it right now. And I'm like, yeah, this is definitely early 2000s OVA style.
Absolutely, yeah. Very well. I hate to say this, very old school. It hurts me to say that early 2000s is old school, but
It's
just
20
again
years
showing
old.
my age. But yeah, but it is that old, yeah. And it ends on on just an amazing joke that I love. Because again, you get that second episode because you got to have a beach episode in there,
Of course.
and the second episode actually ends with a preview for a third episode that not only does not exist, but it was never intended to exist.
It's the best.
Wow.
Amazing.
Awesome. No, great choice.
Watch
Looking-
this. I don't know how I
Yeah.
ended up stumbling upon it, but I vaguely remember watching this, and specifically the beach episode, and there was some girl who yelled "gorgeous" all the time. That's all I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if you can find it, recommend it. Honestly, the beach episode really isn't that bad, but it's not Christmas. So
Do
that's
you
not
remember
what
what
we're
his
here
parents
for.
did, like as a job that he's all of a sudden cool with?
They are doctors, and they basically travel the world going into um, poor areas and areas that don't have proper health care and whatnot, and deliver health care to. Um, they also, if I remember right as well, they also like create vaccines and things like that as well. But they might just deliver the vaccines. I don't know, but that's what they do. Yeah.
And fuck this kid. I want to see his parents' story.
Yeah. How did these intelligent people, these kind people, name their kids Santa? How'd
Right.
that happen?
Well, as I said, I think they just hate their kid. They're like, we had a kid and now we can't travel the world anymore. Oh, wait, yes, we can. We'll just do it.
We'll just leave the kid at
Nice.
home.
Yeah.
That happens. There are so many anime where they're like, "Oh, my parents are off in wherever abroad," and I'm all
Mhm.
like, "Really? You just gonna leave the kid? Okay, gonna trust your teenager to stay in the country without you? Okay."
Yeah.
It's Japan. They could be 5 years old and they'd be fine staying alone.
It got to the point, Kate, not to get too far off track, where I did a panel at Otakon about that exact same thing. I was like, here anime where the parents are present and they're there the whole time and they don't do anything heinous. They are kind, loving parents.
And don't die.
Yeah, that don't die.
Yeah. Don't die, or dad doesn't work in America now.
Yeah.
Weirdly, one of the few anime I could think of where like everything is hunky dory with the parents that's like an adventure thing is the Sailor Moon adaptation, because her Earth parents, like her modern Earth parents, are like there and present for the entire time, and nothing bad ever happens to them.
That's crazy.
With everything else going on in that show, nothing bad ever happens to the parents.
Had to be a gag. I want to hear about these Gintama episodes because I think I may have watched one at one point in time. Is the Nintendo Wii episode a Christmas episode or whatever they called it, where they wait in line to get the Nintendo Wii? And
How true is that?
like, I think there's a Gintama one where that's like the whole episode. I thought it was vaguely Christmas oriented.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, it's the OE.
Yeah, the OE. Yeah.
I don't know if it was Christmas specifically, but yeah, I can see why you would think that.
Yeah. Either way, let me hear about some of these, because when I was looking up at lists, it was Gintama came up a lot, and then I think like Toradora came up a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say actually, although I did not solicit my people for lists, I did get one volunteer saying Toradora Christmas episode, so that's definitely a classic for sure. Yeah, did you have any particular favorites from Gintama, Bran? I know notably the original 201 episode series ends on 2 Christmas episodes. That is the Santa arc, episodes 200 and 201. So that's definitely was memorable.
Yeah, I think the thing that's great about the Gintama Christmas episodes is that they really do go against the grain, where most Christmas episodes are going to be pretty wholesome and about like coming together, and most Gintama Christmas episodes are about just being like spiteful, jealous, and hating each other and just like creating chaos. They're so good.
100%. I mean, the first episode of the Santa arc is called Santa Claus Red is Blood Red.
Yeah. That one's silly just because it's like It's almost like a whodunit doppelganger situation. Like, who's the real Santa? But the one that I feel like I think about the most often, outside of course, the Neil Armstrong Cyclone Jet Armstrong cannon, because that's
is that the Neil Armstrong Cyclone Jet Armstrong cannon?
Yes, I am specifically referring to the Neo Armstrong Cyclone Jet Armstrong cannon. That's correct. But aside from that one, which is the obvious choice, I think I often think some of my favorite episodes have the Shogun in them, and
Yes.
I think just about anytime they can turn the Shogun into like an inanimate object are like peak comedic moments. So
Shogun Kaio.
exactly. So when Gin starts riding the Shogun like a snowboard down the mountain, I think that's about when you hit the peak of comedy.
That I think there was one time that we were talking about like slapstick humor and DJ claiming that all slapstick humor was bad, and I just kept sending him clips from that episode. Like, this is just the absolute best you can possibly get.
Yeah. That's too.
I remember that being one of his all-time worst takes.
Yeah, pretty much.
In the spirit of Gintama Christmas, let's just shit on DJ now.
He's not here to defend himself, so he's fair game.
You've written how many words for your game, and you don't have like a single person getting like a hammer bonked on their head? Come on.
Yeah, the ski trip, definitely classic. Is the Neo Armstrong Cyclone Jet Armstrong cannon, is that actually a Christmas episode, or is it just like a winter carnival thing?
It's definitely a winter themed episode. I think it's like a snow sculpture competition is like the theme of the episode. So yeah, not specifically Christmas, but like one of the few episodes where there is snow on the ground.
Yes. No, that's definitely where my mind went at first too, because that is definitely an unforgettable classic.
Yeah. I guess for those that don't know, then Neo Armstrong Cyclone Jet Armstrong cannon
it's a Neo Armstrong Cyclone Jet Armstrong cannon. I think that's all.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, everyone knows what Neo Armstrong Cyclone Jet Armstrong cannon is.
Yeah, it's the most legendary, powerful weapon of all time. So I mean, we all know what that is.
Right. Yeah. You recognize it when you see it. It's pretty straightforward.
It will most definitely make it into the thumbnail. I can tell you that. But
hopefully we don't get taken off any platform.
That's true. I might have to do a classic Gintama like pixelization of it.
Which is funny because those episodes involving the Shogun also tend to involve the Shogun's Neo Armstrong Cyclone Jet Armstrong.
Oh, that's true. Oh,
that is a series that, like, because it is so long and touches on so many subjects and is so episodic, it is one that I really should just like pick out all the episodes that are very seasonally appropriate and make a point of watching them during the appropriate times of year, because I never like come up with an excuse to just rewatch 350 episodes of Gintama. But if I can just, watch Gin ride the Shogun down a hill for a few minutes, then that might be worth it.
Yeah. Oh.
I do love the idea of a Santa arc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since it is the conclusion of the original Gintama series when we didn't know if we were getting another season.
Which is crazy. To be fair, arcs in Gintama is usually like a 2-episode deal. So
Santa arcs 2 episodes, the vacation arcs 2 episodes, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a good idea. I feel like that's something we've lost, is that you can't go to like a store anymore and find just like a bootleg compilation of like Gintama Christmas episodes, or like, that's I think that's an art we've lost, but I would love to compile just like a list of those seasonal relevant episodes.
Yeah, I mean, they used to do that for, at least American shows. They'd have like, here's the Christmas episodes of South Park or whatever. So yeah,
that's true.
I agree. They definitely should do that.
You could start doing a brand, just put DVDs in random stores.
You're not wrong. That could be my next big thing.
I mean, considering most of Gintama has never even been released on home video in the US, that could be a way to pilot it.
Market's
There you
wide
go.
open. It's true.
Poor
Make sure you
Gintama.
put it on the DVD-RW at 480p.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
To be fair, those first 200 episodes, 201, were animated in 480p.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's about anything, all you're gonna get. So
Yeah.
Max compression.
Oh, I saw something that hurt my soul. Total sidebar. I saw a post online where it was a girl going, I heard a millennial say that you used to burn CDs for your like boyfriend, and they're like, were you guys all like literally lighting CDs on fire like in some witchcraft thing? And I'm like, oh no.
oh no,
Oh
It's
no.
begun.
we're losing the blueprints.
Oh, it feels like that. I'm like, oh no, the technology's being lost. Help God.
Yeah.
It has begun.
Just wait till you have to explain to somebody why the save icon is the picture that it is.
You know,
Oh,
I saw some. I don't know if it was an actual post or just like a satire, but someone being like a picture of a floppy disk, and they're like, "Whoa, someone 3D printed the save icon."
Yeah, that joke's been around for a while.
That's.
I don't think anybody's actually ever
That's-
seriously
That's
said that.
bait.
but-
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
big.
that
It used to be believable.
Yeah.
One. I did want to bring up one. More low-key Gintama Christmas episode, because I usually think about the Santa arc, but there was an early episode that was Santa themed. It was episode 37. It's called, the title of the episode is People Who Say That Santa Doesn't Really Exist Actually Want to Believe in Him. And I believe that whole episode is about like so Ginsan meets Santa and his reindeer, which is just like a really jacked dude is his reindeer. But I think it's just like him learning about the meaning of Christmas. And my favorite part from that is, I don't know who says it, but they say Happy Merry Christmas, and it like becomes like the catchphrase. And like the tagline at the end of the episode, they like write it in blood. It says Happy Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, looking at it, I think that was the first Christmas episode, and it aired like within 3 days of Christmas, and then the next episode was the Neil Armstrong Cyclone Jet Armstrong Cannon. So,
Oh wow, they are
Yep.
back to back. That's amazing.
classics, all classics.
But yeah, definitely put the even if you don't watch any other Gintama, just try it out over the holiday to get you into the spirit.
Yeah, and it is a good way to like pilot it to someone, because it's easy to sell someone on episodic Christmas material during Christmas, and then once they experience Gintama Christmas, they're like, all right, I need to see what this Gintama shit's all about.
Right. You don't really need context for the Neo Armstrong Cyclone Jet Armstrong Cannon, because the whole episode is just everybody doing a big dick joke. So it's about all the context you need.
I don't. What is there about dicks? It's just the Neo Armstrong Cyclone Jet Armstrong Cannon.
You're right. I'm sorry. I'm reading too much into this.
Yeah, God, get your mind out of the gutter.
I guess just as a spiritual successor to the Gintama style Christmas episode, I haven't watched it in a while, but the first season of Osamatsu-san, which I feel like the first season was kind of like a lightning in a bottle of it being funny, and the rest have been pretty mid. But the first season had a Christmas episode that has a similar amount of just like debauchery and stupid infighting the whole time. So it's like the exact opposite of like the meaning of Christmas, but it's a fun time.
Yeah, Osamatsu came up as well, like once or twice when I was looking around for them too. Though I didn't do too much digging into why, like under what context was it on there for being good Christmas episode, if it was heartwarming or something else. Because I know that Osamatsu is a comedy series, so
Yeah, no, it's they're all just horrible brothers. They're all getting coal in the stocking, that's for sure.
they're all just horrible brothers. The tagline they should put on any physical release.
They should, yeah. Another one for my bin of physical releases I'll have to do.
Oh yeah, you just gotta write on it in Sharpie like Osamatsu-san. They're all just horrible brothers. Throw it on the shelves at your local grocery store and Dollar General.
Yeah.
No, they have
Grocery
Spirit
store.
Christmas now.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
they?
Yeah.
Oh lordy.
How did they miss the most easy slam dunk of all time? Could they not call it Christmas Spirit instead of
Yeah, that would
Spirit
make more-
Christmas?
Yeah.
Impossible.
It's crazy.
Branding, man. I'm sure somebody, in marketing was like, no, that won't work.
Yeah, got lost in the bureaucracy.
Have we sufficiently covered the Gintama Christmas arcs?
Yeah,
There are many more, but I think you got an idea.
yeah, those are
Indeed.
the heavy hitters.
Gotcha. Alrighty. There was one that I wanted to talk about for a little bit, real quick, because it is a little bit on the new side, and I think it represents kind of like the peak of what this show was before the several seasons came out and studios changed and art direction changed a little bit and stuff. And I'd rewatched this today just to be sure, because I'd mentioned before recording that some of the Christmas episodes I remember enjoying from anime, like Ping Pong, are not very good Christmas episodes because they're just so sad.
Dude, that was on my short list actually. It's funny.
Yeah,
you mentioned
like
that.
it's a good episode, but it's like, man, you're really gonna get in the Christmas spirit or whatever if you watch this Ping Pong episode. I was like, oh man, not really.
No.
Definitely not this one unless you're Pong, I think his name was.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Kong, Kong enjoyers, they get their stuff, but the what's the robot kid's name?
Pico? No, Smile.
No,
Pico's the other one.
Smile. Yeah, Smile enjoyers are in the gutter in that episode. So
I mean, so is Pico. He gets drunk on a boat and passes out, and that's like it. And he gets drunk in the dumbest way possible too, eating those stupid little chocolates with the alcohol in them. When I've had those before, there's like
Dude,
a thimble of liquor
You
inside.
have to eat
That-
so many of those. You would die of chocolate poisoning before you would get drunk.
those things are such a fucking anime plot device that are not real life things for sure. Because that is, it's funny because that made me remember a random, probably Christmas-ish themed episode of Nisekoi, where that exact thing happens, where one of the girls like has a whiskey chocolate, and all of a sudden she's like fumbling over herself, undressing. It's like, come on, those things are liquor flavored at most.
Yeah, I got some for Christmas from a family member a little while ago, and I remember eating them, or trying to eat them, I guess is a better way to say it. But A, they were not very good, and Emily didn't think so either. And B, the amount of liquor in there is like enough that it could stain a piece of paper, perhaps, like a post-it note.
Yeah.
But other than that, nothing. So the fact that Pico ate like 6 of them and then is stumbling drunk on a boat, I was like, oh my goodness. But yeah, that was not one. But the show I wanted to talk about actually was, I think, one of the best episodes, which was Christmas Camp from Yuru Camp, which is kind of an episode and a half, to be fair. There's Christmas Camp, and then there's like the first half of the next episode afterwards where they sort of finish their night. But it really just kind of adds a little bit of Christmas vibe, and then it's cold outside. They all end up wearing Santa outfits and make a joke about how they look like mall Santas together and everything. But I think I really enjoy it because it has what we were talking about before, that feeling of, your sort of partying, so to speak, with your friends over Christmas rather than your family, because they actually are camping on Christmas, which surprised me when I watched it again earlier today. That there is a line where the teacher goes out because she chaperones them and then gets just absolutely hammered at the campsites. But they do mention, right, like straight up to her, like, it's Christmas, are you okay? And the idea of someone taking these girls out camping in like American Christmas instead of being with their family is unthinkable. As far as I could see it happening over here, just because they would all be with their families and stuff like that. Because I think this is one of the anime where they all do have families. But yeah, this one I really enjoyed watching, and I think it gives you a little bit of that heartwarming cheer. Plus, it's like the pinnacle of the show, and I think kind of where it had its max quality, because it's right at the end. You have Chikawa, the little dog there. All the girls are camping, and they're bringing their food and cooking it and stuff, but it isn't quite as food centric as the rest of the show eventually becomes, where it seems just like the camping is an excuse to eat food, and this is still while they're kind of entwined. It's just really really nice. And then of course, they do, I think, a little exchange of stuff, and you get a nice montage in the end of them going back and hanging out with a little bit of their families. And you also get camping grandpa gets 2 cameos as well at one point, so they really kind of gave everyone a little bit of time to shine in this episode, as they were talking about like just what they were doing, and a little bit of Christmassy type of, well, where do you think X person is, or things like that. And yeah, it's of the episodes that I watched today to kind of get myself caught back up with the ones that I was aware of, this one definitely gave me the most like warm fuzzies, because it's just all of them hanging out and enjoying each other's company, camping out in the cold, wearing their dumb Santa outfits, and even though they all know they look silly, they still do it anyway, at least for a little while and stuff. And I do like the gag that when they're making food, all the girls would like have these big over-the-top reactions about how good the food was, except for the teacher, and she would cry, and every time it was because she didn't bring the right liquor to pair with the food that they were making, so she was crying about the lost opportunities. But yeah, that's definitely, I think, one of the stronger episodes of the whole show, let alone that's the first season, which I think is my favorite and the best one out of them, especially as we've gone on. Not that the show's gotten bad, but it's just changed not only art style and stuff, but kind of general tone and what they do and everything. So yeah, that was my my heartwarming pick. And then I have a more somber one, but I'll wait for that one as well, because it's also alcohol related, but definitely more on the look at this lonely guy type situation.
Oh, no. Well, in line with that, the lonely guy on Christmas, I do just want to shout out from that ping pong episode. They go to karaoke and sing a song called Hitori Bochi no Christmas Eve. And
oh yeah, and then they shout
that song's a banger. Yeah.
Yeah, Kong sings that.
Yeah, he sings that while Smile sits at home by himself with his like one little lit candle.
Yeah.
So sad.
Well, that's an interesting part in that story too, because Smile is currently in the mode of alienating everyone around him because he's so obsessed with ping pong, and he's just kind of an asshole. So you feel for him, but at the same time, it's like you're an asshole to everyone. Yeah,
that episode was a weird like transitional period for a lot of the characters too, because Dragon also, this dude's like number one and struggling with the pressure of it, and there's like that scene where him and his girlfriend go to see the Christmas lights, but it's just kind of, I don't think it really happened. It was like her imagination, and he just like stayed back and trained instead. So
yeah, she is actually just walking around alone, and he never even like saw her text message. It did cut back to a scene where I do not know if this was the intended message of it, but I did laugh, and I feel like I shouldn't have. But when they cut back and Dragon's laying in bed, after she's waiting, he's got a bunch of tissues wadded up next to him, and I'm like, has this dude just been jerking it like the whole time? He's just
Well, yeah, probably.
because that's what he chooses to do for his stress relief. But yeah, that's definitely more on the somber side. But I wanted to try to avoid that at least a little bit until maybe towards the end of the episode, because the one I have is a little bit more like that. There's a like redemption in the end, but a lot of the episode is just more like this guy realizes how shit he is.
Well, why don't we ride that a little further, and then we'll come back around to the end with something happy.
That's true, rather than ending it on a downer.
Right.
But that's more my. I mean, that's more my speed, just in general, really.
Yeah. Gotta leave y'all with a sour taste in your mouth for the holidays.
Yeah. Don't enjoy Christmas too much, you fucking hacks. No, the other one that I had watched. I mean, I watched a few. Like, there was a Shirokuma Cafe Christmas episode, but it's just Penguin complaining about not being invited to parties the whole time. So I remember liking the episode, but I'm like, this is barely Christmas. It's just Penguin fucking complaining. But the one that I was going to add to the list here is from not the new one, but the first Bartender anime series from 2006.
Oh.
It's a really good episode, and it's told in a really interesting fashion, and in a way it's much more indicative of how sort of experimental and not like art housey the first show was from '06, rather than the new one that had much more of a established storyline. But in the episode, essentially what it is it's all there's the main character, like the reporter, who she's doing a theme the whole show on the bartender guy because he's the glass of God and all that stuff. And what the episode is about is the professor, and how on his way to his fame and fortune and an elementary school reunion that he was going to, and I guess elementary school is more like middle school in this case, but a school reunion, and he was going to take his thesis on liquid dynamics with him because it's what he spent his whole life on, and kind of sacrificed his youth and hanging out with friends and all sorts of stuff. And he gets to the reunion, and everyone's just like having a good time and partying, and no one wants to hear his dumb nerd shit. So
literally the guy in the corner is like, they don't know I know liquid dynamics.
it is,
Like,
because that's what it is. That's what it is. He had wrapped up his thesis, and he was basically planning on just reading it to people or
Oh, no.
sharing it in some way. So of course he doesn't. He notices right away, and at this point the narrator of the episode is like, it was at this point that he realized just how boring of a man he had become. I was like, this is fucking mean. And normally I'm cool with that type of shit, but how the episode plays out is really interesting because it has a really cool, like almost like jazzy Christmas feel to it, in that it encapsulates a urban Christmas that I don't think we'll necessarily get very often anymore, because there's a distinct line in the episode where they talk about how the warm lights of the city kind of illuminate everyone walking there and make it give it this like ethereal, angelic feel for the holidays. And one of the things I was thinking about while I was watching the episode is I don't know how often you'll get that in cities anymore because of the way that they've changed the lighting. Like, so much lighting in cities and highways now, at least around the places I've been to, has gone from that like yellowish soft focus glow to like doctor's office white LED.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking about this the other day with someone. I was like, it's actually so hard to drive now because everyone's car lights are blinding.
Yeah, that's a huge problem. It doesn't
Yeah.
help that all the SUVs are like, I drive a sedan.
Yeah.
Guess where all those cars' lights point? Right into
Yeah.
your fucking eyeballs.
Mhm.
Because everything's
Mhm.
bad.
Indeed. But yeah, the episode, by the
Anyways.
way, is called Christmas Miracle, which is funny because I don't really think there's much of a miracle that happens. But it was the whole episode is then in this like soft focus that gives everything a very it also reminded me of like old 70s and 80s Christmas commercials at the same time, like on
Everything's just
old
vastly
TV.
filtered.
Yeah, so it has like a nice nostalgia feel to it. But essentially what ends up happening is he goes to the bar, and the main character bartender guy, starts pouring him drinks, and he's just lamenting about how like boring he is, but he saw this really attractive lady and he wanted to talk to her. And the rest of the episode is then sort of his story is being narrated by characters in the show and on the street, almost like fucking Charles Dickens. Instead, where it's just like the people outside that have never met him before are just saying stuff directly into the camera about his life, and then people at the bar are doing it, and then they'll cut to two random bartenders who talk about the type of person that he is at this point in his life and how he's a bad like bar customer because he's gonna ruin the vibe of the bar. But of course, our amazing bartender that the show is about mixes him a perfect drink and listens to him and hears him out in his woes, and then he gets his Christmas miracle where the woman that he chased into the bar notices him and gives him a kiss on the cheek, and then he also gets to talk about liquid dynamics for a little bit, and that is his Christmas miracle. So it definitely was not an episode that I picked for like the story in so much as it was the vibe and the telling of the story, because of the way it depicted Christmas at that time with that super soft like focus, and generally kind of low lights, and the people who will go to bars around this time, it wasn't like super rowdy, it was people just kind of enjoying each other's company in a very communal setting and stuff. So it's definitely one that is cool to watch from like a vibe situation rather than trying to get any like profound story elements out of. But I did enjoy it for what it was. And the drink he makes is interesting. It's called a Black Velvet, which I didn't know existed until now, but it's half of a Guinness and half champagne.
Yeah, that's funny. I was just looking up like someone's write-up of the episode, and I'm like, the Christmas miracle being he makes a fuck-ass drink, and it's like really crazy, but he pours it perfectly and like convinces this guy that like, oh, what do you know about liquid dynamics, bro?
Yeah, he's just like nothing, but I'm a super sick bartender who can control pour level and bubbles. So
I gotta try
in your
that
face.
drink. That sounds really weird.
It's a thing, I guess, which I didn't realize, but yeah. What's nice about that first season or first show, I guess, of Bartender is that you could not watch anything or know anything about it, and this episode would still work because it's just about this guy, and that's it. Like, there's no real big plot. It's very episodic. You can just kind of watch and be like, oh, there's this guy, I guess he's really good at making drinks, and yeah, that's about it. So you could just turn that on at like a party you were having on your own, and people would be like, whoa, an anime about actual beer and liquor and stuff, which that's really funny because I guess the production value wasn't super great, and I don't know how much of it's an artistic choice, but when he picks up the bottle of Guinness at one point, it's just like a JPEG.
It looks like this write-up I have, like he has a still from the episode of him holding both the Guinness and the champagne, and they are both actual real life bottles.
Yeah, they're pictures of bottles that he's picking up and manipulating. They did not bother to animate it and draw them like in the new one. It's just, here's a Guinness. And I don't think they got the scale of the bottles well either, because I think the Guinness bottle is almost as big as the champagne bottle.
It is. It's pretty big.
Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to give something a little different when we were doing the episode, because it's an not very highly watched series, but it gives a slightly different look and is a little bit more about the whole, you go out with people and friends and do kind of like party-y things for Christmas and stuff. And granted, it's about a guy who's kind of miserable, but eventually gets some good times and good tidings. And I assume the message at the end was like, it's okay to have a passion as long as you make time to enjoy like small things in life and don't overcomplicate what you do enjoy. Because his whole thing is, when he was a kid, he loved playing around, and then he saw water come out of a spigot, and he was entranced by how sparkly it was, and that's what led to him kind of abandoning everything to just study how liquid works. But yeah, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy Merry Christmas.
I hope someone has a heartwarming one that we can end the episode on, because
I have a funny one.
hey, that will work.
That warms my heart.
So another one that I watch every year is so the anime Seitokai Yakuin Domo, if anybody knows that. It's um has the appearance of a slice of life high school anime, except that all of the jokes are very perverted. It's all sex jokes. And the 11th episode of the very first season, they as the basic setup of the show, because anime, of course, the main character is this guy who's just got into high school, and he's chosen the school that he's going to just because it's the closest to his house. But it just so happens that this school, up until this year, it was a girls only school, and it's now just recently gone co-ed. So he's one of like 3 guys in this entire school, and he's gotten what I know, right? A totally new plot line that you've never heard before. And so he gets involved in the student council. And so in this episode, the student council is getting together and having a Christmas party that the whole actual Christmas part of the episode is only about 3 or 4 minutes. It's got that sort of typical slice of life kind of approach that a lot of them have. Seito Keiyaku and Doma, the manga of it, is a 4 coma, so it's quick gags and that sort of thing. And just like a lot of those sorts of manga that get turned into anime, an episode is really like 3 or 4 mini episodes. So and so the actual Christmas part of it, which that segment is called Santa's Sexual Desires. Actually has nothing to do with Santa Claus, if that does gross you out. But it is about them doing the student council getting together for a Christmas party, and they do a little dirty Santa thing where it's gift exchange that gets very dirty. And I will just say that I don't want to spoil it unless people want me to. It basically revolves around a single joke that they tell about 6 different times over the course of 3 minutes, and it gets funnier every time that they do it. So you don't even have to watch the show. Just pull up this segment, and it is hilarious. So there you go. There's your heartwarming, uplifting end. I don't know if we're ending, but
I like when you said I don't want to spoil it. I'm like, no, I think you're safe.
Yeah.
You can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Okay. So the essentially the when they gather together, he's looking at all the gifts and he sort of picks one up, and it starts buzzing. There's the gag being there's a vibrator in there, and he's the only guy in this party of all girls, and of course, which one does he end up with? Is that one, and it kind of is used as a punchline a number of times throughout the episode, and then at the very end of the segment, so the student council president, there's kind of like a thing going on, like, oh, will they or won't they? Is there a romantic thing going on between the two of them that always gets interrupted with some gag. She gives him a present directly, and she's like, this is for your hard work, how much I appreciate you, da 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 da. And it's this really tender moment with this really beautiful music, and he's standing there and he's like, can I open it now? And she says yes, and as soon as she says yes, it starts buzzing. So there you go. There's the jokes. Yeah. But it's a great show, regardless. Highly recommended.
Meaning of Christmas is different for everybody. So
That is correct.
We've certainly
If we
covered our
learn nothing
bases.
else tonight.
Nice. Well,
that's good.
I do want to hear if Kate or Kestrel have any other episodes or anything that they wanted to bring up that they could. I don't know how you could top sad bartender or vibrator jokes, but you're more than welcome to give it a shot in the Christmas spirit.
You get a sad bartender with a vibrator on the beach, then I think I'd have my Christmas miracle.
Brand can make anything happen.
Yeah, well, let me get this thumbnail. This thumbnail is Patreon exclusive.
Oh boy, yeah. Yeah. No, I think I'm okay.
There was
I guess. Go ahead, Kate.
Of more recent things. I just remembered that there was an episode of Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle that was like episode 12 was the Christmas episode where she's stuck in Demon Land and it's Christmas.
In Demon Land, it's Christmas.
In Demon Land. Well, they were trying to make Christmas for her because they're like, oh shit.
I need that show is underappreciated. I like that way more than I thought I was going to. I forgot it had a Christmassy episode. I'll have to go back and watch that one too.
They
just for fun.
They should animate more of that. I guess it didn't really set the world on fire, but there's an awful lot of that manga out there that they could make a whole lot more of that if they wanted to.
As it goes.
Mm-hmm. As it goes for GOG manga series.
Brand, did you have something that you were going to add, or?
Yeah, I feel like I'd be remiss to not at least mention it. We talked about it a bit before we started the episode, but there is a show airing this season that is literally about Santa Claus, sort of.
Yeah.
It's a weird show though. Yeah. So it's Santa. It's a show in, its Christmas theming and its Santa centricness is very much like a plot device more than like actually at all being about Christmas. It's very weird and hard to make of it hard to make what it is, like what is happening. But this is a show by the creator of Beastars, Itagaki Paru, I think is Paru Itagaki. But yeah, this is like her next series, and it's kind of like a near future Japan where kids have like a very like stunted growth, and they're taught to like live a specific way where they don't really like grow up, and like they don't have all these like desires or like childish dreams. Santa Claus isn't a thing in this reality, but of course one of the main characters, he is like a descendant of Santa Claus and can transform into him on occasions. And it's really hard so far, halfway through this season, to know exactly where it's going, but there's a lot of different themes they're pulling at of like what it means to grow up, and like what it means to like have like what it means to have an identity, whether that's like struggling with like trans identity issues, or even just like hormones in general, and like growing up. So it's trying to say a lot with like a very like interesting lane of theming. It's like we're gonna do this like really deep show, but about Santa Claus. So not at all in line with this.
Okay, I'm gonna read this plot summary for the first. On December 25th, when it's snowing, middle school student Kazushige Sanda's body seal was broken by his classmate Shiori Fuyumura, making him look like Santa Claus. From that day forward, he finds himself transforming into Santa whenever he wears red clothes. Later, Santa discovers he can change back by eating jelly beans. What? Why is that?
Is that right?
Yeah.
It sounds
A specific
pretty logical
like candy
to me.
bean called like boy beans or like baby beans or something. It's silly.
This sounds ridiculous.
But yeah, I felt like it would be weird not to mention the Santa Claus elephant in the room, but this is currently airing. It's just not very Christmassy, but it's about Santa Claus. So,
In a similar vein, last season we had Rascal Does Not Dream of Santa Claus.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Which similarly, it's very wrapped up in the whole Christmas idea, but isn't really about Christmas. So there you go.
But you get more miniskirt Santas. That's all you need.
You get plenty of miniskirt Santa. Yes.
Is the season.
yeah. I mean, Santa most of the time has no clothes on and he's shredded. So I think there's just like a new spin on what Christmas
that
means
works as
nowadays.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, you got to
Well, when
update
you
for
put on red
modern
clothes-
times.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Got a little bit of just showing off the goods.
Yeah, that's my new Santa now. This guy right here. Alrighty. Well, I think if everyone's gotten their fill of the Christmas spirit, at least as of this point, I think we've certainly covered the gamut of what Christmas is and how people celebrate it or don't in some ways. So I think we can maybe start wrapping it up. So first off, did anyone have any recommendations for things? I know we've got like a little bit of Black Friday coming up soon, maybe some other stuff. I'm not sure if there are any sick deals out there to take part in. I know I was actually looking for some Hellsing Ultimate Blu-rays, which I was surprised to see still MSRP at like $60 fucking, but
I think the Crunchyroll sale right now, they're doing like early Black Friday. Maybe it was just like last Friday and then the real one's going to be actual Black Friday. But they had like basically 3 tiers for each membership tier, assuming you're a member. And it's like that % off basically all in-stock items. So there's like, I don't know, 15,000 Blu-rays and manga that you can get, you know, up to 45% off depending on your tier.
Gross that they're attaching that to a subscription.
I mean, they've always, since they killed Right Stuff and folded it into Crunchyroll Store, you've always gotten a higher % off everything based on your membership tier, which is why I had to upgrade to the highest one because I just buy so much.
Gross.
it's a financial decision.
Gross.
Yeah. And I think Sentai also has their holiday sales going, and they have both of them and Crunchyroll have like different daily deals, like Right Stuff used to do. And yeah, I'm not gonna tell you whatever today's is because it won't be the daily deal anymore when this episode's out. But there've been some decent ones, and the Media OCD Black Friday sale will be actual Black Friday through the weekend. So that's going to be 50% off most of their discs, both Animego and Whole Grain Pictures for live action stuff.
There's still some High School of the Dead OVA Blu-rays kicking around out there.
I think that is probably no longer a thing. I think you got to get the complete collection these days.
Ah.
Very sad. As for
anybody got anything in particular?
Yeah. So there are some long-awaited manga releases we're finally getting. Some brand new ones, some re-releases. So Kingdom, most notably, the first volume is finally out in English. So that is very exciting. That's like one of the last biggest white whales of manga licensing. And also something that has been out of print physically for a long time, and is back in nice fancy hardcovers, is the Mushishi manga. So first volume of that is out. If you buy from Kinokuniya, you get a special cover, and if they still have them, they had like little shikishis, and they also had a tote bag, but I don't know if you can get that online or if you had to get it from a con. But regardless, the hardcovers in general are beautiful, and it's great to have that in print again. And then another new re-release that's going on is Nana has a new re-release that's been coming out. Also 2-in-1s, a little higher trim size, little higher quality print. So if you don't own that series, definitely check those out. And then I guess I can actually recommend Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake now.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, well, there we go.
Yeah, good note. Go ahead.
I am actually playing a video game. And yeah, it is good, and it is.
I'm shocked.
If you yearn for simpler times and the nostalgia of pixel-based games, that specifically the games that established the past 40 years of both the JRPG industry and just Japanese fantasy in general. Definitely check that out. I get entirely too excited every time I open a chest and it's a mimic. Yeah. And what else? Sorry.
If I may have a little bit of self-promotion, as of the recording of this episode, my review of that was posted today. So there you go.
Excellent.
Go check that out.
Nice.
Yeah, I am not very far into it because I start playing a game for a few hours and then get distracted. So I'll get back to it eventually. But yeah, it's been enjoyable to return to simpler times and just experience something so legendary and influential in its original form, more or less. Yeah, and then I guess for non-anime stuff, the new Knives Out movie is very good and very different. So if you're into that franchise, it gets you more of what you like and some new ideas as well. So I think that'll be on Netflix in a few weeks. And Pluribus, the new series by Vince Gilligan, the creator of Breaking Bad, has started releasing on Apple TV. I think we're 4 episodes in. And it is very interesting concept. Very, it's Vince Gilligan. He's very good at storytelling, and it's a return to kind of his X-Files days, which is very different from what you've seen from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. So I have no idea where it's going, but everything so far has been fascinating. So
that dude has had such a career, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, those it's a very unique sci-fi premise, especially like the route they're going with it and the kind of main character they have. So I'm super excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I think if you liked Severance, it is in that same kind of vein of, how it explores humanity and its individualism, just kind of in the opposite direction, more in the instrumentality sense than separation. So it has a lot to say, and I'm very intrigued to see where it goes.
All right, Brian, how about you? You got anything to recommend?
Nothing really besides go watch Tokyo Godfathers this Christmas.
I can second that for sure.
I'll third it.
Nice.
And then especially if you've seen it once with the sub, watch it with the dub and vice versa.
True. That's probably what I'm going to do this year.
Nice. Mark, anything on your end?
Well, since Kestrel stole my Dragon Quest recommendation, in a couple of weeks, Metroid Prime 4 is coming out, so that's obviously a biggie. And then the aforementioned mentioned briefly the Rascal series, the third. Is it third or fourth manga series? Fourth manga series is getting ready to come out in a couple of weeks. Rascal Does Not Dream of a Sister Home Alone, the manga adaptation of it. And then actually, and this is a little early, but following up pretty quickly after that is my favorite part of the Rascal series. Rascal Does Not Dream of a Dreaming Girl. That's coming out in January. So, couple, and those are. I don't remember which one you were mentioning, Kestrel, but those are technically 2-volume manga, but they're releasing them in 1 volume on Omnibuy over here. So
Nice. Yeah, I agree. Dreaming Girl is the best arc.
Yeah. Cool.
Kate, how about you?
On the anime front, I don't know. I've really curbed back on my spending for no real good reason, other than the fact I have no room left in my house for books. So I'm
Feel
like,
that.
as I look at my right home. So yeah, see how long it's been since I order books. Looking at my Crunchyroll wish list and going, oh shit. Yeah, so I've been playing a lot of Arc Raiders. I don't know, that's something. Video games still exist. I've been playing the Fabulous China Jank game that is Where Winds Meet, I believe is the title of that, which is like a fucking fever dream of a video game, so that's weird. But yeah, I don't know. Go buy some anime. There's a lot of, you know what? The 12 Kingdoms novels have been re-released. Go buy the first 2 volumes of that.
That's
if
cool.
you've never read it.
No, I've only played Dynasty Warriors. I think I should probably get a proper education on it.
12 Kingdoms is not 3 Kingdoms.
Oh, 12 Kingdoms?
No,
My
no.
bad.
Yeah. 12 Kingdoms is something completely different.
If you want like 6 kingdoms, read them.
Yes.
I mean, 6, 7, I don't know how many kingdoms it was.
That's good.
Yep.
Damn. Now I wish I was far enough in Persona to have been at the Christmas part. That could have been my Christmas episode moment.
Mm.
Well.
Alrighty. Sounds good. I actually don't really have...
Can I throw? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, I don't really have much to recommend in particular because I've just been playing like old games and shit, so nothing really all that new, except I did finish Ball Pit for some reason. I played the whole time and I wasn't sure if I liked the game or not. I just kept playing, so I guess that's one thing to say about it.
I liked it a lot at first, and then I kind of got towards like, I'm like, well, now I'm just cleaning up trophies, so I'm like, the last few trophies here are kind of a grind. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was feeling.
Maybe mainlining Ball Pit wasn't the best idea in the world. Don't mainline that game. If you're gonna play it in small bursts over a long period of time. Don't mainline it.
Yeah, I think that'd be my recommendation: is if you're gonna play it, don't play it all the time. But Mark, if you had one more, and then we'll.
I was going to throw out one more recommendation. Tokyo Godfathers was mentioned before. Go watch everything that we talked about this episode.
Fair.
Yes.
There's my recommendation.
Especially the Gintama episodes.
Yeah. Be a whiplash of Christmas vibes with what we talked about.
Yeah, put them on a dartboard and watch them in a random order.
Yes.
Really give yourself the Russian roulette of Christmas media experiences. Alright, cool. Well then, I think we'll wrap it up for this evening. So, Kestrel, why don't you let everyone know, as usual, where they can find you and where they can find us, and then we'll pass it around.
Find us wherever you find podcasts. Please subscribe, rate, and review. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube Music, trusty old RSS feed, fandompost.com, etc. You can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, at Fandom Post Radio. You can tell us your favorite Christmas episodes that we overlooked. And you can share our stuff, follow us, whatever you do on social media. Email us at fandompostradio@gmail.com. And you can find me on Twitter at FullMetalKioma and Blue Sky at kestrelswift.bisky.app.social.whatever.social. That's the one. And yeah, I don't think I've posted anything or written anything since our last episode. But yeah, in theory, I exist.
But only in theory.
Schrodinger's Kestrel.
All right, Bran, how about you?
You can find me at Hellshake Brando and on the socials and everywhere else. On the Fandom Post end of things, right here on the podcast, and also, I'm sure if you search Christmas on the Fandom Post, I think we did some Christmas blurbs last year. If you wanted to get some other random Christmas write-ups if you were feeling in the holiday spirit. But yeah, besides that, chilling it right here.
Alrighty, Kate, how about you?
You can find me at fandompost.com. I am reviewing To Your Eternity Season 3 and Past the Monster Meat Milady. I am on Blue Sky at Sonic Bug. Reposting other things from other people, probably about comics or art or something pissing me off or something not pissing me off. And occasionally remembering to repost the links to my reviews on there. And that's it. That's what I'm doing on the internet.
And then Mark, yourself.
Yeah, fandompost.com. This season I'm reviewing Mangaka's Weirdly Wonderful Workplace. We are 7 or 8 weeks into that, and I still can't say it quickly. So, and most recently, just as I said before, dropped the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D review, remake review. So, on the socials, you can maybe find me, MD Thomas, on Blue Sky, where I occasionally post it when I remember that social media is a thing that exists. Okay. So.
And as always, you can find me right here and here alone. So, as usual, thank you everyone for listening. Hope everyone enjoys their various holidays coming up, since as we're recording this, we're approaching Thanksgiving and wanting to get a little something out there for Christmas as well, since especially around this time, all days seem to kind of blend together, and before you know it, it's, in the December 20s range and things. So, hope everyone gets a chance to watch their special Christmas episodes, movies, whatever it is you like to do to unwind around this season. But until next time, we'll talk to you later, and everyone enjoy the anime that you choose to get you in the spirit.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Happy Merry Christmas.
Happy Merry Christmas.